Elon Musk's time in the federal government will come to an end this week. He has officially decided to leave the federal government as a special government employee. And according to MSNBC, his offboarding paperwork has already begun to be filled out. His offboarding process has begun this morning. Elon Musk, in just a matter of hours, will no longer be a part of the Trump White House in what has marked a significant departure in the first 4 months of Trump's second term in office. Elon Musk came in promising the American public to cut $1 trillion in waste, fraud, and abuse as part of his Department of Government Efficiency efforts. A few months in, he revised those calculations and those predictions, saying he's only going to cut about $175 billion. And we now know that he was only able to successfully cut about $9.4 billion, significantly less than what he set out to do. His time in the White House has been marked with major scandal, and he leaves the White House at a time where his personal dealings are under fire. Tesla sales are plummeting, SpaceX rockets are failing, and Twitter is just not operating at full performance. So Musk is offboarding today officially. But that's not all. Overnight, Donald Trump took to Truth Social to invoke God as a reason why he is doing this. He invoked religion to justify his actions as president of the United States. Now, I don't talk about this because this is huge news. I talk about it because that meme that Donald Trump posted, which I outlined below in my Substack, is there to distract you from the real issues that impact the American public. And I'm about to talk to you about a big one. But before I do, please consider supporting my work by subscribing to my Substack, by clicking the button below, or sending a one-time donation to support my work via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. TikTok is suppressing me right now, so I need your support to fight back. The big news that impacts all Americans is that Donald Trump's tariffs, the Liberation Day tariffs, well, America has been liberated from the liberation tariffs, at least temporarily. I reported last night that a 3-judge panel unanimously decided that Donald Trump overstepped his executive authority to invoke the tariffs on April 2nd, on Liberation Day. And well, the Trump administration has already filed an appeal to the federal circuit. They're going to take this all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, but the stock market has already begun to rally after the news that the tariffs were deemed illegal or unlawful. And as it stands currently, the tariffs are not in place, not on China, not on any other country. They are immediately essentially ruled null and void. We'll see what the circuit court and later what the Supreme Court decides to do. But today, China has welcomed the US court's decision, essentially saying that this is a good decision because it lifts the tariffs on Chinese goods coming into the United States of America. But that's not all that Donald Trump doesn't want you talking about. We learned just recently that Qatar, remember the Qatari jet deal that where Qatar provided a $400 million Boeing jet to Donald Trump to use as Air Force One? Well, folks, it's not final yet. It's not. And according to the Washington Post, the reason why is because the Qatari government wants in writing essentially a statement from the United States government that says that the Trump administration initiated the deal with Qatar, that Qatar didn't give this as a gift, and that Qatar will not be held responsible for any future transfers of the aircraft's ownership. It's very interesting. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Department of Health and Human Services this morning, where RFK Jr. is under fire for two big reasons. First, the HHS has canceled nearly $600 million worth of contracts with Moderna for developing vaccines targeting potential pandemic flu strains, including the H5N1 flu. And second, RFK Jr. claims that his Make America Healthy Again report is based on top tier science. But according to Notice, cites many sources that are not real, that don't exist, and that are misrepresented. And 7 of them, according to Notice, don't exist at all. One such citation falsely attributes a study to epidemiologist Catherine Caius, who confirmed she never authored or co-authored the paper mentioned. RFK Jr. wants us to believe the science and the information going out of the Department of Health and Human Services, but it's not even real. Harrison Ruffin Tyler, the last living grandson of President John Tyler, passed away at the age of 96. He was born in 1928. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, has announced the closure of its on campus diversity, equity, and inclusion policy after Donald Trump's pressure on the university alongside other universities. Speaking of universities, the United States State Department is intensifying its scrutiny of all visa holders affiliated with Harvard University, not just students, but to include faculty, researchers, and visitors. A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration's attempt to deport Mahmoud Khalil is likely unconstitutional. The government sought to remove Khalil under a rarely used immigration law. However, the judge, Judge Michael Farbares, found that the rationale was vague and potentially in violation of constitutional proceedings. COVID 19 cases are rising again, driven by the spread of a new variant known as the NB1.8.1. There has been an increase in cases in the Mediterranean, Southeast Asia, and Western Pacific regions. Reality TV stars Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley are officially released from prison following Donald Trump's pardon of them. Now, here's something interesting. Donald Trump claims that they were railroaded, right, by the Biden Department of Justice, by the federal judge in their case, by prosecutors. But he doesn't want you to know that Julie and Todd were actually charged in 2019 when Donald Trump was president under Donald Trump's Department of Justice. That's all the news right now. Please consider subscribing to my Substack by clicking the button below or supporting my work and sending a Venmo today to Aaron Parnas. And I'll see you this evening.